All right, glad to have you guys back. As you may have noticed, I've been on a bit of a mission lately to try out and fly all of these amazing new things that have been coming along, like Express LRS, trying out different radios. And one of the things that has come along since I was making videos last time is the advent of HDZero. So I got Bardwell here and I asked him specifically to bring me an HDZero setup so that I could do some test flights on it, because if we can get back to that low latency and have high quality video, I think it might be a game changer and might be something that I want to be on. Now, we aren't at the full 1 watt video transmitter yet. This is still just what, 200 milliwatts. So I'm not gonna be able to fully explore this environment, but I haven't flown a freestyle setup that is this low latency in the longest time. So is it gonna make a difference? Let's go find out. Goes down.
All right.
What, is it just gonna pop in?
And we'll get your get your reaction.
Okay.
Here we go.
Ooh, fancy. I do. Is it focused?
I mean, you have to. Those are.
No, I mean the OSD elements are focused, but like that tree looks out of focus.
I mean, I can't promise you. We could try to adjust the focus on the camera. Yeah. I mean,
oh my God,
it's probably not worth fucking with, but you decide.
Is it? It's not like it gets more in focus close in. I don't think it's that. I think it's just the...
That may be just how much resolution it has.
That may just be like I'm used to the... I've seen the video comparison, so that might just be all that I get.
We need to make you fly like 5 packs on analog before you do this, so you'll be like more impressed.
To be fair, I have been flying the crap out of the Meteor 65, and this stomps on that. So,
oh yeah, it shits on analog. It really does.
Yeah.
Give it a rip.
Oh God. And these rates.
No, those are my rates.
You're
gonna have to just deal with that shit.
Oh, okay, so I'm getting a little breakup.
Yeah.
But the breakup feels familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything? Okay, good. The thing that I just blindly flew through, assuming it was gonna be clear, was clear, because I don't know if I could have seen wires in it. Oh wow, okay, that's a lot of breakup.
Now you do have patch antennas on the front. It's 4 antennas. All of them are working at the same time. So if you fly behind yourself, it'll get worse.
They're all 4. Is it basically just RSSI switching?
It is. I'm told that it is not quadversity. That both the patch, it's diversity, and both the patch and the Omni are used simultaneously. I don't know what that means, but they assure me it is not just quadversity.
Yeah.
That you people have done tests with 4 patches and it got better. So, you know.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, woo! I don't know if I knew going into it that, hey, this isn't going to be what I would run at 200 milliwatts.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
But
200 is not a lot.
I will say the latency feels really good.
How you like that OSD? Remember what that was like, having an OSD?
Having a full featured OSD that says all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is nice. Oh gosh, I'm like tugging on the cable for the goggles.
There you go.
Oh God, Scraggle.
How you like that Scraggle? Can you see the Scraggle?
Well, let's do a Scraggle test. How about that?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna try to like fly through this. Just how much of the Scraggle can I see? I can see a pretty decent amount.
Yeah, some.
I can see enough to tell that, yeah. It's like trying to decide, is this clear? That I feel like that would have been easier on DJI.
So many times when people do these tests, and myself included, you end up comparing it to DJI in terms of the detail and so forth. And I mean, it's just going to lose there. Like, it's just a given. So, like, I feel like when we review this, like, we should try to at least notice the less obvious things that make it stand out.
Fair enough.
I mean, otherwise you just say, yeah, it looks worse than DJI, and then you walk away.
But, and I knew that going in. I was not coming in expecting it to be a competitor to DJI, like, in terms of image quality.
Yeah,
like,
it's just not.
I recognize that it is not going to be.
Yeah.
The way that breakup is, though, that's a little bit funky.
Yeah, what's funky about it?
I mean, I understand that they're trying to emulate the analog, and so they're replacing pixels with static when they lose it, but it doesn't, like, I feel like analog, as it increases, is like on kind of a linear track, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this, it'll be like one frame is 90% static and the next is 2%.
Yeah.
And then one frame is 90% static and then the next is like mostly clear. It feels like I'm getting flashes of static instead of like a steady increase of static. Does that make sense?
Yeah. One thing about it, it's not actually frame based, it's linear, so it's line based.
Yeah.
So basically you just like got a rolling shutter down the screen and it's just continually drawing lines. Similar to analog, how analog draws lines. And that's one of the ways they keep that latency down.
Literally go behind one bush though and like, oh, you're screwed. Come out the other side and the video's good.
Yeah. Oh, you found a tree.
Me. That's on me. I don't know what your turtle mode switch is.
It's right here.
Okay. I might be
and then arm.
Might be able to.
We do have the car right here. That may be affecting us.
Yeah, no.
I mean, 200 milliwatts is not a lot. Come on, baby. Get out of there. It's just in that tree, man.
Yeah. It's like a holly bush. I don't think it's coming out.
All right.
It's got those teeny tiny motors. Let's not smoke them. No, so I think overall, like, you can feel the better latency. While the image quality isn't like on the top tier side of things, comparing it to DJI, I still think that it's a viable option. Like, I understand why racers would want to be moving to this. My other question that I had is like, okay, what's the bandwidth on the signal?
Similar to, I don't know the number, but it's similar to an analog. They specifically designed it for racing to be similar in transmission characteristics. So the center frequencies are the same and the bandwidth, you can fit eight at a time.
Okay, so like they're not having, so basically when they go to a race, it doesn't matter whether they're running HDZero or analog, they can just hop in.
That's why they ran HDZero at Nationals last year.
I think that is an important distinction there in and of itself. Because if it was like really good and really low latency, but it was like DJI and 50 megabit mode or whatever, and taking up a third of the bandwidth, then that would be a whole other
We're not trashing these guys either, like we would be if we were on DJI 50 meg.
True.
Nobody's complaining about us.
True.
Same as analog.
True. Yeah. No, I think that in terms of, you know, what it is, I can see the benefit. I want to see that 1 watt transmitter.
So if it had a 1 watt, let's assume that on 1 watt it gave you the same range as like an 800 milliwatt or 1 watt analog, would you just switch to it based on what you're seeing here? I mean, you've only got one pack.
It's so hard to say that. Okay, this is the distinction that I will make and why I'm not certain.
Okay.
Because with DJI, the way that it works with the variable bit rate, so that as you go behind like this school, you still have video and it's still actually really good video. And probably like maybe this is a higher quality image at that point, but I could still fly that. And so I'm usually looking to fly the furthest reaches of a site. And I think DJI is, even when this gets to 1 watt, DJI is probably still going to win out on that.
That's a fact.
However, I don't know, because I can like change my style. Because when I went to DJI, I got a lot more smooth and a lot less proximity based. And I think
because of the latency.
Because of the latency. And I think that if I had something like this in my tool bag, I could go back and be a lot more aggressive. And so I find that's why I'm intrigued by it and want to be testing it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no question that DJI is going to give you more range and penetration, especially if you can fly through that blocky 2 megabit per second. You can sort of force your way through.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like this is a serious competitor for people who are not going to DJI and still on analog.
Oh, 100%.
That's what I was asking. Would you scrap, if you were still flying analog, would you scrap analog for this? That's what I'm wondering.
I need to see the 1 watt version. But you did say assuming it matched range, 100%. Absolutely. If it matches range and I was on analog and didn't have the DJI stuff and I could only afford one, it makes sense. For me, I'm gonna get it. I want it as a piece of my toolkit. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of when. I still don't think it makes a ton of sense for me to have a 200 milliwatt version. No, so that's why I'm just waiting till there's a 1 watt that I can grab. And when there's a 1 watt version, I'm gonna be the first to race to the store and get it.
Yeah. So let's race to that tree and get my quad
before it melts.